Hello, my name is Lucas Rug, and this is my presentation on fingerprint detection. Fingerprint detection is a very powerful tool, especially in criminal cases. With each person have their own unique print. One is taken only leads to one person. But factors include the surfaces touched, dirt or sweat on the hand, and how hard a person made in contact with the surface. The four main ways to detect prints are latent fingerprint powders, cyanoacrylate fuming, chemical developers, and vacuum metal deposition. The first one being latent fingerprint powders is a fairly simple process which only uses a combination of pigment and a binder to remove moisture and residue left from the print. Common pigments include aluminum, zinc, copper, and colloidal carbon. Common binders include rosin, iron powder, and gum arabic. Here's a quote I found just describing the use of latent fingerprint powders, saying, "Fingerprint dusting is relatively simple and relies on the adherence of powder to the latent print residue to provide good visibility and definition of the fingerprint detail. Latent print powder has an affinity for moisture and preferentially clings to the residue deposited by friction with skin. There are a few drawbacks, such as it can only be done on certain surfaces, and good contact has to be made between the finger and the surface." Cyanoacrylate fuming is a process that uses carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen mixed with water to make prints visible. Cyanoacrylate is commonly used in superglue. When applied, the cyanoacrylate polymerizes, removing the residue, sweat, and leftovers. This is a fairly quick process, but it can be accelerated when heat is added. And when the process is complete, the powders are then applied to the surface, making the prints visible, as the cyanoacrylate polymer is colorless. Here is the structures of the cyanoacrylate with, and then there is one with the addition of water. Another way used is chemical developers, with the main chemical used being nihindrin. When a finger touches something, sweat is left behind, which contain amino acids. These acids do not move once onto the surface, which, if these amino acids can be found and lit up, they show the fingerprint. Nihindrin reacts with these amino acids to form an ammonium salt, which then become a bright purple color. Another common chemical is the 1,2-difluorine 9,1, which makes prints visible when a blue-green light is shined upon them, but this method can only be used on paper and similar surfaces. In the best and most advanced method so far is vacuum metal deposition, or VMD, which this can be used on nearly all surfaces and is the quickest, as it only takes about 10 minutes. Basically, zinc and gold are applied to the print, as gold is typically applied first to form a bottom layer. Then zinc is applied to set on top of the fingerprints, allowing the fingerprint to be shown. And here is a visual of that. As you can see, the zinc and gold applied to the fingerprints, showing the ridges left behind. In conclusion, the four main ways include latent fingerprint powders, which are a combination of pigment and binders; cyanoacrylate fuming, which uses cyanoacrylate polymerization and powders to make prints visible; chemical developers; nihindrin, the most common, reacts with the leftover amino acids to form ammonium salt; and vacuum metal deposition, which is the newest way and most efficient, is uses small pieces of gold and zinc deposited on top of the prints to make them visible. And here is a list of sources used.